Hi, Teacher Candy from VIP Kids and also Candy from Blessed Life. I have the two channels. The one channel, Blessed Life, is about God's blessings that He has for us and everything that He does so wonderfully in our mission and our ministry in Columbia. Our second channel is VIP Kid, on my second channel, and it is all about my journey as a VIP teacher. But this one kind of comes together, and so this will be posted on both channels. So if you're watching Blessed Life and you're like, why is she talking about VIP Kid? That's why. And if you're on VIP Kid and you're like, why is she talking about God and Jesus? This is why. Because this subject and topic come together. And I do think that people who aren't VIP Kid teachers can benefit from this lesson that I learned, and I also think that VIP Kid teachers can be blessed and learn from this too. And so basically what happened was the worst thing that can ever happen. Ever. It's at least probably in your top 5 of VIP Kid teacher no-nos, bad things that happen to VIP Kid teachers. I did a teacher no-show, and it was totally and absolutely and completely my fault. I had a huge, gigantic brain fart. I have this little girl, and I've taught her 4 times. I taught her 4 times, and she's at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we always have to get up at 3 o'clock, Wednesdays and Friday. Well, for some reason, on Wednesday, I said, I have to get up at 4 o'clock because I have her at 5 o'clock. And I got that stuck in my head, and I looked at the schedule, and the schedule said 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock. But for some reason, I just had this big block in my head, and I had the time wrong, and I couldn't get it out of my head, and I didn't get it right. And previous to this, I've been really crazy when it comes to VIP Kid. I've been watching all of the VIP Kid mentor stuff that you can find on YouTube. I've been going to the mentor workshops. I've been, checking it, and I've been trying to figure out how to get more classes, because my goal is to get 25 to 30 classes a week, which at 30 classes, that's only working 15 hours. It's only teaching 15 hours. And, you do have prep time, but it's, that's not another 15 hours of prep time. Maybe it's like 2 hours of prep time for those 30 classes. So my goal is that, but I haven't been reaching it. And so I've been like, how to get the parents to like you, how to get the parents to respond to your, how to get your profile the best way so that parents will pick you, blah, 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 blah. And so I've really been working hard on that, and I've been watching it, and I've been praying, God, give me my 30, spots a week, and I've been opening up my schedule like crazy, crazy hours, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm saying, I'm open, come pick me, just, so I can start getting, parents. And so I was obsessed with it. And so when we woke up, we set the alarm for 4 o'clock because we thought the class was at 5. And we set the alarm for 4 o'clock in the morning, and we always hit the snooze once and snuggle and cuddle and kiss a little bit so that we wake up nice. So we actually hit the snooze twice that morning. So at 4:18, I wake up, and Jorge looks at my phone, and I've got this nice little message that, 40 minutes ago you had, a message saying from VIP Kid, because it gives you a 15-minute warning when your classes. And I'm like, that's not right. Why, what did they do? What happened? Did I, accidentally book a short notice, and not notice it? Or so I'm like kind of freaking out. And I pull up my schedule, and under Una, who is my adorable little student, it says teacher no show. And I was absolutely crushed. Absolutely in panicked, all these thoughts of I'm going to get fired, I'm going to lose this job, and I like it, and everything. And so it was like just And also, I had a lot of pride because, I would read about these teachers. I had a teacher no-show and it's not fair and this happened, that happened, boo-hoo-hoo. And I'm like, you're an adult. You can't set an alarm clock. And I had absolutely no compassion for anybody on the Facebook pages that are crying and whining about their teacher no-shows or their whatever, they're complaining about. And so before I could even get into full panic mode, all of this was happening and flashing before my eyes, and probably maybe at the most 2 to 3 minutes had passed by. And then all of a sudden, this calm voice came over me, this feeling, and it said, calm down. It's okay. I've got you. And I literally, heard this voice tell me, you get six mistakes. This is one mistake, and you're not going to make any more. It's not, you're not going to lose your job. Calm down. There's absolutely nothing you can do. It is done. You missed the class. All you have to do now is write, to the company and tell VIPKid, I'm so sorry this happened. Please forgive me. And I did. And they actually told me on the app, on the phone, it's really nice. Under your no-show, it gives you this option to go in and write a note to your parent and say, look, I'm sorry this happened. And so I really was happy about that. And so I did that too when I got the response back. And the response was actually nice. It wasn't like, look, this is your first one. You better not have another one because you haven't been with us long enough and you haven't worked enough classes. So we will just, you'll be out the door. And nothing like that happened. And so I have been so concentrating. And in the back of my mind, this whole time I've been concentrating, God has been telling me, concentrate on me. Concentrate on me. Spend time in my word. Spend time with me. Spend time journaling. Spend time writing like I usually had been doing, and work on your blog. And, what about your ministry? What about the things that you have as goals for your ministry this year? What are you working on there? And I've been pushing. I'm like, okay, when I get 30 classes, I'll get everything taken care of. I'll do it. And it was like this message, you need to take your concentration off of this and concentrate on me. And I don't know, when you have that panic, you get that rush of adrenaline. So it's now 4:10. I've written and done what I can. I'm already prepared for my classes, the later classes that I have later. And I didn't have a class that was Wednesday, so I didn't have another class till 6 o'clock. And so I had from 4:10 to 6, but I was wide awake. And my husband, who usually wakes up with me, gets my computer all set up, takes care of me like that. And while I'm making my coffee and everything, he usually goes back to bed, but he had kind of got that adrenaline rush too. And he got down on his knees and he was praying in the extra bedroom, and he said, I'm going to read the Bible. And I said, okay, well, let me get all set up. I still was kind of even though this calm was coming over me, I was fighting it. I was fighting the calm. And I walked past once, saw him praying, walked past twice, saw him praying. And so I just said, I'm going in there and I'm going to Bible study with him. And we had a wonderful Bible study. We read Colossians 3 and 4. And that really does put things in perspective, because it tells you you're with Jesus Christ in heaven. And that's where your spirit is, and that's where your heart is supposed to be, and that's where your mind is supposed to be. And when you have a heaven mind, the things on the earth, come into perspective. What is important? What isn't important? And we had a talk, because he is becoming a workaholic too, and he's been concentrating a lot on his job and so many other things. And so both of us realized we need to make time for each other. We need to make time for the Bible more. We need to make time to read the Bible together more as a couple. And, and I need to spend more time with my sister, who's here only till February. And then she goes back, and I'm not going to see her for another 6 months. And there are so many other things that I need to make time for that I've just been filling all this time up with preparing for VIP. kids. And so I went in and I told my sister what happened, because by that time she's like, you know what happened. And so we talked, and she said, well, so after all my classes, she said, let's go for a walk, which we do that a lot. We go for walks. And right before I was checking one thing, and I went on the Facebook page, and I saw another lady, and she was writing, and she had a little bit different issue. She had probably, I don't know, I would say it's a tie with number one. Teacher cancellations or teacher no-shows, and the 5 apple rating thing when you don't get 5 apples, when you get like a 4 apple or less rating. Those are like the two like major stressors for VIPKid teachers. And 5 apples is what the parents rate you, and you always want 5 apples. 4 apples is good. 5 apples is excellent. But you want those 5 apple ratings because one, it determines whether they'll give you a raise when you re-sign up in 6 months. 2, we all want to do a good job. We all want to hear good things. So anyway, she was stressing about that, and I felt on my heart to share with her what had happened this morning, that it wasn't, God's got this. And also another verse after we had studied Colossians that came to my mind was Matthew 6, I think it's 25 through 31, where Jesus is telling them, don't worry, don't be like the Gentiles. Don't worry about what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear, where you're going to live, all the things that the Gentiles, worry about and busy themselves with, because your Father, God, is going to take care of you, and He's going to provide, and He's going to provide way better than you can provide for yourself. And so I shared with her a little bit of my heart and everything, and I was very nervous because this is an open forum. I didn't know she's a Christian or a Buddhist or whatever she could be. And so, but I just shared with her. And I thought, even if this isn't for her, it might be for somebody else that's stressing and feeling the same way about an issue with their jobs. And so she wrote back and she said, thank you. She said, there were a couple things that were going on in my life at the time, and you helped me to get perspective. I started the next morning with my Bible study. I felt so much better working. I had such a better day, with my classes, and I just want to thank you for sharing and everything. And then she told me about some journals, and I can't think of the names of them, but I'll look it up and I'll try and put a link down below. But so, I got a good tip from her. We were sharing. And so I was able to help her. And because everybody else was giving her good advice, they were giving her, well, call this person, write that person, write your parent, WeChat with them if you have them on WeChat. You can do this and that, when you don't get a 5 apple rating. So, but that was the only advice that was given, and I just told her, I said, start praying for this mama, and I said, she will start to love you and adore you, and she will be your 5 apple queen mama, and you will get 5 apples from her for the rest of her life, or as long as you're teaching her kid. And you kind of just have to look at it like that. And I think that it really made an impact on her. It gave her some peace. I got a lot of peace, and I hope that you can get some peace from this lesson, that there's nothing more important than your relationship with God, and put that first. Put God first, and make time. And it doesn't have to be, I think part of the problem is the devil tells us we have to do 2 hours straight or 1 hour straight. If you do 15 minutes, that's not enough. But for baby Christians, 15 minutes is sometimes enough, because you can start to get overwhelmed. But snag 15 minutes here to read the Bible, snag another 30 minutes and put in a praise tape and listen to praise songs that, are praising God. You can do different things during the day that are elevating you and lifting you up and putting you in that heavenly state of mind. And that's where we need to be as Christians, because then everything else falls into place and you realize God's got this, God's got this. I don't have to stress over this. I don't have to stress over that. And so this was a huge message for me. I hope that it does you some good. I hope that there's somebody out there that says, You know, you're right. God's got this. And, you know, they find, and God will lead you. You know, for me, it was Colossians 3 and 4 and Matthew 6, 25 through 31. But for you, he might lead you to something in Corinthians. He might lead you to something in the Old Testament that will give you peace and calm. Psalms 91, whatever it is, you know, just know that God's got you. If you have faith in Jesus Christ as your Savior, God has got you. You are okay. And no matter what happens, live or die, fail in that little tiny moment or succeed big, it doesn't matter because God has got you. He's going to catch you. And he will catch you when you fall. Just like he caught Peter when Peter took his eyes off him in the water when they were walking on water. So that's the message today. God's got you. He's going to take care of you. You don't need to stress about all these things in life. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your husbands, your wives, your sisters, your brothers, your moms, your dads, your doggies, your kitty cats. And just have a great day and a blessed day. Okay, so I want to say goodbye for Blessed Life and bye for VIPKid Teacher Candy, and just have a blessed day. Thank you. Bye-bye.